We are featuring Crawley Town and the big derby, of course, Aldershot Town and Woking. This time it's at their place at the Laithwaite. We're there in a moment's time with Ian Nicholson and Mark Francis. I'm Tim Durrans. A very good afternoon. But without further ado, let's quickly drop back in on Gary Smith, who will be listening in on Crawley Town's trip to Bolton this afternoon. Gary, we heard you talking to Joe just then. A real test for Crawley this afternoon, but a real opportunity, you would have thought, in 2021 for John Yim's side. He'll play it down, but they're in a good position heading into the new year.
Yeah, they're in a wonderful position, Tim, and a real opportunity, as you say, this afternoon to gate crash the playoffs, albeit because some other sides are not playing. Crawley unbeaten in their last 8 in all competitions. They've won their last 2 on the road. They're unbeaten away from home since early in November when they lost to Walsall on a very, very cold Tuesday evening in the Midlands there. But having been to places like Wimbledon and won, and of course the last 2 games away at Forest Green and away at Leyton Orient, and picked up a draw last week against league leaders Newport County on Boxing Day, they're in a very, very strong position. And as you probably heard me say to Joe, Tim, as well, the players that are playing this afternoon, not just playing to try and get the points this afternoon for Crawley, also playing for the opportunity to pull on the shirt next week for the huge game against Leeds United.
Yeah, the heady days for Crawley. Thanks, Gary. He'll be following that one for us. We'll have regular score updates from Gary this afternoon. Woking, of course, hosts to Aldershot. Aldershot 3-0 winners on Boxing Day. You heard that commentary here on BBC Radio Surrey. Rob Worrell, we bring him in. He'll be contributing from home on this one. Rob, can Aldershot repeat that? Home advantage for Woking. How do you feel?
Depends which Aldershot turn up, Tim, and I know that might be a bit of an obvious statement, but, is it the one that turned up when they beat Woking 3-0, clinical and efficient, or the one that just didn't turn up at all at Yeovil? I think they're capable of going to Kingfield and winning. They've shown that on previous occasions, even under Danny Searle in his one previous visit there. But both sides will be hungry today. They'll be looking to respond. Both Woking to the Boxing Day defeat and Aldershot to the game at Yeovil. I think both sides will be desperate not to lose, and I think that's why we'll probably end up with a draw.
Great stuff. More from Rob at half-time. We'll keep an ear on Dorking Wanderers. They go to Hampton and Richmond Borough looking for revenge after their Boxing Day defeat, but both sides still in the playoffs in that division, trying to join Aldershot and Woking next season. In the Premier League, Spurs have beaten Leeds 3-0. It's Palace Sheffield United in 2 minutes' time, and Rangers 19 clear at the top of the Scottish Premiership. They've beaten their rivals and the holders, Celtic, 1-0. But without further ado, answers to Rob's questions. Which Aldershot will turn up? Indeed, which Woking? It is Ian Nicholson, the club chaplain, and of course alongside him, your match commentator at the Laithwaite, a warmish Mark Francis.
Thank you very much indeed, Tim. Happy New Year to everybody. Welcome to the Laithwaite Community Stadium for this Vanarama National League fixture, Woking against Aldershot Town. Of course, the combination of these two teams means a whole lot more on days like this, as Woking and Aldershot enter battle for the 3rd time this season, with the scores currently 1 apiece. Aldershot's 3-0 win over Woking on Boxing Day will feel all the more important. It was very much a familiar story to many. The Cards extending their losing run in the league at the EBB to 5 years. Alan Dowson's side did advance to the first round of the FA Cup at their expense of their local rivals back in October. So who will hold the bragging rights after today? Sandwiched between the Boxing Day meeting and the fixtures today, with the fixtures on Monday, Woking's televised game against Eastleigh ended up being a tiring goalless draw, whilst the shots were on the end of their own 3-0 defeat at the hands of struggling Yeovil. Alan Dowson makes 3 changes from the side that held the Spitfires here 5 days ago. And we see a dual centurion maker with both Craig Ross and the returning Jack Cook starting their 100th games for Woking. And we're also returning Matt Kretschmar, having served 3 game suspension, and Kane Ferdinand. So Ferdinand, Kretschmar and Cook are in. The 3 that drop out for the Cards are Jarvis and Dempsey. No place for Saul Shotton. The game is underway here at the Laithwaite. Woking against Aldershot. Derby Day here on BBC Radio Surrey. As for Aldershot, 4 changes. They can welcome back Mitch Walker in between the sticks. Brad James drops to the bench. The 3 other changes in Danny Searle's side are Whittingham, Newblay and Lyons Foster. Alex Finney and Cheeky Candy drop to the bench. No place for Jermaine Anderson, who is suspended. Woking kicking from right to left as we look in their traditional red and white shirts, their black shorts and their black socks. Aldershot in all yellow jerseys, shorts and socks. Referee this afternoon, Mr. Peter Gibbons, his assistant Stephen Parminton, and Sean Jenkins. The 4th official is an old schoolmate of mine, Tom Elsmore, who's down to my right-hand side. Also joining me here this afternoon, my co-commentator and summariser for the afternoon, it's Ian Nicholson. Ian, very happy New Year to you.
Thank you, Mark. Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to everyone else who's listening in.
Big day here for both sides, you gather.
It is. It's
Lofthouse coming forward, trying to get the cross away to Loza. It's cleared away, but only to the Woking captain, Josh Casey, of course, who began his career with Aldershot Town. That was some 12 years ago now. Kretschmar trying to latch onto the end of this one, couldn't prevent it from going out for a goal kick.
Yeah, big game for both sides today, really. I think, you know, as Rob was saying earlier, it's which Aldershot are going to turn up. The ones that won 3-0 or the ones that lost 3-0. And for Woking, it will be to show everybody, really, that Boxing Day was an aberration and it was a mad 6 minutes. So both sides will be very determined to do well today, and it could go anyway. It could go anyway. Obviously, playing at home, you'd think that gives Woking a slight advantage, but we will see.
We shall see. Goal kick to be taken, as I say, by the returning Mitch Walker. Brad James drops to the bench today. Ferdinand challenging Fowler for the header there. There's Bettimer here on the right-hand side, clipped forward by Rees. And Jack Cook's come across to deal with that one. There's a flag gone up there, I think, against Harry Paniatu, who's offside. So a free kick Woking's way. We'll start with the Woking team, Ian. Changes, positive. Cook returning, and Kretschmar, you mentioned pre-kick-off. That's got to be a boost for Alan Dowson.
Yeah, I think all three changes, Ferdinand, Kretschmar and Cook. To be honest, at the start of the season, if you look who've been the best performers consistently for Woking, it's those three players. So having them back should strengthen the Woking side this afternoon.
And for an Aldershot perspective, Lyons, Foster, Whittingham and Newblay in for the shots, but the eye is drawn to two former Woking men, Toby Edser, who is in the starting 11, Cheeky Candy amongst the substitutes, and also 31-year-old Ricky Miller, who signed for them recently.
Yes, and also you mentioned Josh Casey. Ricky Miller also came through the Woking Academy, so we've got two reversals there with Casey and Miller. But I think Toby Edser did very well for Woking. Probably, didn't quite do quite enough to sort of get a full-time contract, but he's a very talented player. Cheeky Candy was here as a real youngster. I remember him coming with his mum to games, and had a lot about him, and he's done very well for himself, both at Dagenham and now moving to Aldershot.
Edser with 24 appearances and 3 goals in 2 spells for Woking. Cheeky Candy, having played here 5 years ago, 16 appearances and also 3 goals. Forward from Tommy Block, straight back to Walker, who's in all purple here this afternoon. Launches one up the pitch, looking for, on that far side, Newblay, but the foul goes the other way there. I thought there was a few shirts being pulled, but the referee adjudged that to be an Aldershot foul. The midfield of Rees, Edser and Whittingham, Newblay, Bettimer and Paniatu, the front 3 for Aldershot Town. I think the result, from a Woking perspective, would have surprised many. Yeovil put 3 past them on Monday, but also Jermaine Anderson was sent off, which has very much changed his fixture, having scored twice on Boxing Day.
Well, yes, he made an immediate impact for Aldershot on Boxing Day, and I think 2 goals, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And so from a Woking perspective, seeing that he's not appearing, even psychologically, will make a difference. And it's just a pity today. There's no crowd, so it's although I must say on the pitch there's quite a lot of noise coming on the pitch, which you like to hear. Both sides very, very vocal, geeing each other up, but to have 2 crowds in full voice would be, both these occasions, whether it's at Aldershot or here, is just a great occasion, really.
I'll tell you one factor that will be pleasing today is that barrier is going to be standing up over on that far side.
We were talking about that earlier, and I think every season was now I think it is pretty shatterproof. It was never actually a crowd barrier. It was a sort of pitch side barrier, which was there just to. It was never meant to hold people back. But anyway,
never meant to hold.
That's
50
gone now.
That's gone
now.
But you're right, Ian. It's a big shame that still very much an empty house here at the Laithwaite. Hopefully 2021 can bring fresh positivity and hope to all. Hopefully leaving 2020 in the past. Here is the number 20, Toby Edser, with a free kick. About a third into the way of the Woking half. Aldershot shooting towards the big empty Leslie Gosden stand. They got a first half chance from a set piece here. That's Kretschmar will construct a 1-man Woking wall. Every Woking player back, bar Jamar Loza. Aldershot have got Bettimer and Phillips towards the back post. Also There is Newblay, but it's cleared away over the head of Loza to the feet of Fowler. He puts it straight up in the air. Defending here is blocked. It's a lovely touch there from Paniatu, who gets the strike away. Didn't get the sort of connection that he wanted, and it was straight at Craig Ross. Craig Ross in all green gets the clearance away, but it's not his best. Bettimer brings that down for Aldershot, forward by Rees. Didn't really get a contact he wanted either, and it's a Woking throw. Game yet to really settle down so far, Ian.
Yeah, it's been tight really for both sides, and Aldershot probably shaded the first few minutes, having the shot from Paniatu and so on, and just created a couple of opportunities. But yeah, the game just needs to settle a little bit. But being a derby, that could take a while.
There's Block intervening there, searching ball for Loza, who's going to have to bring that down before it goes out of play. Strong challenge there from an Aldershot defender, and I think Loza's lashed out there, and the Aldershot players crowd round the referee, Peter Gibbons. Wasn't too much in there. It's Lyons Foster who's down, and the referee just taking his time to assess his options here. I don't think there was much in that really. It's a derby. There's going to be a few afters from both sets of players. Lyons Foster yet to get to his feet, but
yeah, it was a hard challenge from Lyons Foster. I don't think it was illegal at all, and Loza simply, as he was on the ground, just pushed him back to the ground really. So we'll see what the referee is going to do. It looks like a yellow card coming here.
Does need to be careful, Jamal Loza. Has had 2 sending offs here in his time at the club, this being his 3rd spell and his first permanent contract. Yellow card goes Jamal Loza's way, and it's not the sort of thing you want after just 7 minutes played.
No, it's very early in the game, and you obviously that does hopefully in some ways play on your mind, because you have to be aware that there've been a number of sendings off in this fixture over the years, and that can really ruin a game.
Long throw taken from Jack Cook. It's right towards the front post, which Ferdinand wins off the knee of Davison. Falls to Cooper on the edge of the box. Isn't the best of chances goal bound. Headed by Ferdinand once again. It's not cleared there by Phillips. Might fall to Kretschmar, who's pushed on the edge of the box, but fairly. Cooper with the strike deflected, and Walker can stop that from going out for a corner.
Well worked little move there by Woking with the throw to Ferdinand, who tends to be the target man. Last year it was Musa Diarra, probably is about 6'6". Ferdinand not the same height, but he does have a great leap on him, and there he did a really good flick on across the goal, bobbled around a bit, and but safely managed by Aldershot.
From one goalkeeper to another, it's gone from Walker straight through to Ross. A contrasting form, or similar form I must say, between these 2 sets of teams. Woking just with 1 league win in the last 5 games, Aldershot with 2 in the last 5 games, including the victory on Boxing Day. Only won twice on the road this season. The last win came at Altrincham in November. And there's a free kick to Woking right over on that far hand side. So a chance for possibly Charlie Cooper or Josh Casey to put one into the box. From a Woking perspective, 10 minutes played, still goalless.
I think the difference in the 2 sides really this season has been Woking started the season like a steam train.
Yep.
Winning regularly, whereas Aldershot started very poorly. But since then, it's been pretty even Stevens. Yeah. And I know Aldershot fans are very frustrated. They can have a great win one week and then a defeat the other, and they're looking for more consistency, I think, from their side.
Definitely. They only won 1 of their first 5 games, which was a 5-0 win at Dover. Woking have since been to Crabble, I suppose 1 less, with a 5-1 victory. So 10 goals from Surrey and North Hampshire sides. Doesn't read too badly. Here comes the free kick from Casey off the head of Ferdinand, who just got it wrong. Looked to head it goal bound. I think came off the top middle of his head, if that makes sense, and not his forehead. And another opportunity for Ferdinand to rise first in the box. But looking at 2020, Aldershot on the road, managed 15 points from a possible 45 away from home. Woking's home record has always been their better, 25 points from a possible 39 at home in 2020. Just 1 home league defeat this season. That came at the hands of Sutton United not too long ago. And here's Josh Casey. Gonna fizz one forward, which Davison tried to flick on, but that came off the front of his head, out for a Aldershot throw. Always tell, even with without fans in, that this has that derby nature. You mentioned the noise that the players are making. They want to be first to everything.
Yeah, both sides are a lot more vocal than they have seemed to be in other games.
Loza goes on upfield, looking for Davison, who has 3 yellow shirts around him. Gets the touch that finds Kretschmar and sets Cooper away on the right-hand side, who's challenged there by Whittingham. Unfairly, said the referee. Another free kick goes Woking's way, and 1 or 2 of the players in red and white asking the referee for further punishment, which I don't think they're going to get.
I think both sides were a little bit frustrated there. I think a number felt that the was it Paniati's tackle was fair, but I think it was a foul. But then the Woking players looking, well, why didn't play carry on, because Lofthouse was steaming up on the right. But Woking have been strong from set pieces all season. They are a danger from set pieces. So here comes Casey now.
10 yards inside the Aldershot half. Casey forward, looking for that man Ferdinand again, who does win the header, but his last touch means it's an Aldershot goal kick.
Ferdinand's not the biggest, but that's 3 headers he's had already this afternoon. 1 from the throw-in, 1 from that kick, and one from a corner. So it's he is a threat, and as I said earlier, he gets real heights on his leaps.
Aldershot still without Kinsella and Tanner and McCormack. Sendles White was injured against Woking, but Ricky Miller could be that man to unlock Woking's defence possibly later on, which will mean he will make his debut against the side he started his club career. A fabulous record, Ricky Miller. 67 goals and 100 appearances for Dover, including 45 in 46 games in his second season. Been given the number 30 shirt as a player down for Aldershot. Casey intervening as well with a small break in play. Let's go get our first update from the University of Bolton Stadium. And Gary Smith is watching this one from home.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mark. We played just about 11 minutes or so at the University of Bolton Stadium. No goals at the present time. Both sides have had one opportunity, really. Owen Doyle, the big scorer for Swindon Town last season, before he's moved to Bolton, had a chance in the first minute with a shot that went up and over the top of Glenn Morris's goal. Crawley came back with a shot that did pretty much the same after 7 minutes. Sam Matthews finding a little bit of space, but he curled one up and over the top as well. Nothing really to choose between the two sides, certainly in terms of goals. It's Bolton 0, Crawley Town 0.
Thanks very much indeed, Gary. Back here at the Laithwaite, still no movement. We're just approaching a quarter of an hour. And the Aldershot Town player still just receiving a bit of treatment. A few swigs of water. But Ian, a chance to reflect on what's been a busy 15 minutes, but really neither goalkeeper yet to really be tested.
No, I think busy, a little bit scrappy.
Yep.
Not much in the way of passing build-up really from either side. A little bit of I think on-field banter going on at the moment as the two sets of players exchange a few words here and there. It's no real chances for either side, and it's hard to say really who's in the ascendancy at the moment.
Aldershot's record against Woking is more frightening than many Woking fans will think. In the last 18 years, 24 meetings, Woking have only won 5 times, Aldershot 16 times. And here's a stat for you: in 18 meetings that they've had, the 24 meetings together that they've had, Aldershot's 40% record, they've won by 2 goals to 1. So nearly 40% of the 24 meetings, Aldershot have won this game by a scoreline of 2 goals to 1, which we didn't see on Boxing Day. Here's Lofthouse on the right-hand side, plays it directly to Davison, who was just pushed there, but maintains Woking possession. Now back to Cooper, Cruyff turns away from Edsa. Of course, that former Woking player. Here's Cook. Cook going long, looking for Loza, who just checked his run and will struggle to get on the end of this one and is barged off the ball by Whittingham. Loza might have made a bit of a meal of that one, but again, it goes back to that derby sense that any other game, that'll probably be a yellow card, but because it's a derby, you can sort of allow it.
Yeah, it was a good old-fashioned shoulder barge. I think when Loza was sort of off balance as well, so he sort of ended up in the hoardings, but not the worst thing in the world.
No.
We like a good physical game. Yes, you mentioned those scores. I think I've been at many of those games, which is probably explains my emotional nervousness at any Woking Aldershot game over the years, seeing Aldershot have definitely had the upper hand in many, or most of the games.
Woking's last win here actually came back in 2016, and that was also by a scoreline of 2 goals to 1. Joe Quigley and John Goddard, the goal scorers. Joe Quigley, who was also sent off in that game on Monday, but for Yeovil. Collier now going all the way back to Ross. It's just about going to get there. Paniatu was sandwiched in between the two Woking players. And the Cars just about get away with that one. Aldershot winning on all of their last 3 visits here. Up goes Block for the header. He's going to get a second chance at it, but beating in the air by Rees. Up goes Cook, long looking for Loza. Coming across his Lyons Foster. Will be a Woking throw down on this left touch line. A sighting of Danny Sell, the Aldershot manager. Here's Charlie Cooper, short from the throw. He's going to whip one into the box beyond Davison. Arriving was Kretschmar, and Shadrach Ogie didn't get the most convincing of touches, but it's out for a Woking corner.
No, typically whipped in delivery there from Charlie Cooper. That's been a big plus for Woking this season, is Charlie Cooper's delivery. He brings something which I don't think Woking had last year. It's often there were loopy balls in, whereas he has a really great delivery from, as hopefully we'll see also from this corner.
Cooper right towards the front post looking for Davison, and there was a high foot there. So we saw this in the Premier League yesterday, where there's a high boot, but if a player is sort of kneeling down to head it, does that count as high foot? Not really too sure.
I don't know, but it was definitely commentator's curse, because after bigging up his delivery, that was dreadful.
One of those.
John Goddard, you mentioned earlier, obviously one of a few players that are, well, a whole litany of players who played for both sides, for Aldershot and Woking over the years, and even Jeff Chappell, the Woking secretary and legendary manager, is an Aldershot fan and started out and was an Aldershot player for a while.
John Goddard's Woking's highest appearance maker in the squad. Of course, hasn't featured for a little while now, but being hunted down by Kane Ferdinand. He's one behind him now on the appearance count. Davison, lovely turn away from Lyons Foster, offloads to Kretschmar now. Woking inside the centre circle, coming forward with menace. Good challenge though from Whittingham, brings it back to Newblay. Newblay away from Kretschmar, now bursting forward on that left-hand side. Cooper shrugs him off, and Aldershot win the throw, which Kretschmar and Cooper both wanted. They're not going to get. So Ogie will take the throw right over on that far-hand side, left-hand side for Aldershot Town. Stepping into the Woking half he goes. It's a long throw directly down the line, looking for Paniatu and Newblay. It came off the latter, out for a Woking throw. Of course, plenty of other games going on in the National League this afternoon. There was a postponement between Halifax and Hartlepool, but a couple of other goals to update you with. Stockport County 1, Altrincham 0, and Weymouth 0. Eastleigh 1. Barnet Boreham Wood is the 5:20 kickoff. All other games this afternoon are goalless, including here, where we played just shy of 20 minutes. Casey down the line looking for Loza. Touches away there from Rees, but just falls to the ground, gets back up quickly. Loza now switching out onto that right-hand side. It's a lovely ball to find Kretschmar, whose touch is immaculate. Gets a low cross looking for Davison, but it's cleared away there by Phillips. Over goes Lofthouse. Woking still have possession. Kretschmar off the back of Ogie, nodded forward by Cooper. Away once again by Phillips. Kretschmar picks up the loose ball for Woking, but it's just clipped, but fairly. And now they bring it away in midfield with Reeds. Aldershot coming forward now with numbers. Switch to the left-hand side looking for Edser. Lovely touch with his left foot, but Lofthouse would just beat him to it. And Lofthouse will sweep away for Woking.
Yeah, good activity at both ends there, and I think Collier slipped there, which could have let Aldershot in, but well covered by Lofthouse, and also the ref letting play go, which is good to see.
Absolutely. Here's Paniatu, offloads to Newblay now, twisting and turning, right-footed cross is a low one, dealt with by Collier, will be picked up by Lyons Foster on the halfway line, chased by Ferdinand, goes straight down the middle, touch there from Edser, offloads to Rees, who is unmarked, gives it back to Edser, seeking the 1-2, and it's blaze clear from Collier. Aldershot's turn to come forward now.
Be interesting to see Josh Davison. Young players come on loan, and he started like a steam train with goals. Has really noticeably taken quite a lot of knocks. He's often up front on his own, and it's why players go on loan. They go on loan to learn the game, and that will be a great experience for him. But he's had a quiet few weeks from a Woking perspective.
Yeah, scored 5 goals in his first 6 appearances for Woking, but hasn't found the net in 7. But he's often isolated up front for Woking and does a lot of ball work without a Woking player in support. Here's Loza. Here is Davison now, brings it down with his right knee, goes sliding in on Rees. Whittingham is getting really bobbly in that patch of the pitch, which we did see on Monday at home to Eastleigh, and we've only played half of the first half. Still goalless. Nubley offloading Ogie down the left-hand side, who will keep it in. Kretschmar goes down to chase. Off the foot of Kretschmar. Lovely turn from Ogie there. Can he get the left foot across? He can. Cut up by Collier and cleared away by Kretschmar, left-footed. Only lands to Whittingham. Whittingham back to Nubley. Aldershot enjoying this spell of pressure. And it's nodded away by Collier. Clipped forward by Ferdinand. Now Wokin's turn to conjure up attack as Cooper plays through Davison. Once again, he's all on his own. Challenged there by Phillips. No red and white shirt really near him. Davison is still there, eventually taken off him by Phillips. Woking throw.
Well covered there by Phillips. I think Davison has the pace to get away, and he shut him down well, and ended up just giving away a throw-in. But it was good play from the Aldershot defender.
Lofthouse with the Woking throw. Ferdinand opts to go short. Back to Cook. Cook looking for Loza. Clip forward for Davison. Again, a high boot there, but the referee didn't see anything wrong this time. Blasted forward looking for Paniatu. Cut out by Bettimer. And Collier will be there to hack it forward. Ooh, and there was a weird clash there as... Can't see the player
Can you
down.
give dangerous play against your own side?
It was Phillips who went for the contact, but more or less hit Lyons Foster straight in the face.
It's fast and furious, but not much quality at the moment from either side in terms of building up play and just looking for that touch of quality and class. But it's certainly got Derby written all over it in terms of the passion and the pace of the game. Probably just lacking that in quality.
Just had a correction from our Aldershot Town expert, Rob Worrell, who is watching in from home. I've been saying Joel Nubley when it's Newball. This is the trouble. Right. This is the trouble when you do another one of your station sides.
You do get a few of your pronunciations wrong, don't you?
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love challenging people. It's great. Just had our producer, or presenter, I should say, saying classy, but you know, it's just how the game works.
Sounds
really.
Very Surrey, doesn't
exactly.
it? Nubley.
Exactly. Nubley. New ball. Joel Newball.
Looking at some of it, while we got a little break and play, looking at some of these players, I mentioned Jeff Chappell, Kevin Brown, Colin Fielder, Grant Payne played for both sides. Ross Warner came through Woking Academy, but also played through Aldershot. Damon Lathrope, who was a big Aldershot player and only had a few games for Woking, but very sadly had that bad injury. And a lovely guy, and was looking like a very promising player for Woking. Matt Crossley.
I'm waiting for you to say someone else, Ian.
Well, Matt Crossley, who played, was assistant manager at Woking, and Marvin Morgan was here before moving on to Aldershot. Roscoe Desane, Josh
the
Payne.
Goalkeeper? Jake Cole.
Jake Cole, and Mark Smith, although he's not on the bench today because Woking don't have a Lloyd Y played for both sides. I'm getting people shouting out names for the press gallery now. Josh Payne, and of course two pantomime villains from a Woking perspective, Brett Williams and Scott Rendell.
Brett Williams. Brett Williams still scored against us when he played for Torquay.
I know. It was just like the nightmare, and you knew whenever Woking were playing Aldershot that Scott Rendell, he'd either get 3 or 4, or he'd get a last-minute winner, as he did here one time. But don't worry, I've shaken that off. It's Bradley Bubb also played. So it's and a whole host more. So, but it's and I have to say, behind the scenes between the clubs, the relationship is very good, and also between a lot of the fans. You see on social media a lot of friends, but when it comes to this game, it's bragging rights, and
very much so.
And very much Aldershot have had the upper hand. Charlie Mortimer, yes, the Woking captain in 1958, played for Farnborough and Aldershot.
Should we just do this, Ian, and just forget about the game?
Yeah, we can keep going. Forget about the game. It's let's just call it 0-0 and go home. No, we better not. So, but that was quite a lengthy pause there, and good to sort of reminisce and.
Well,
fans of all generations would have been able to identify with that little interlude.
You speak about 0-0s, Ian. Of course, since Aldershot's promotion in 2003, if we're talking about competitive games, there has been no 0-0 So hopefully it's not the first today, as Lyons Foster is just receiving treatment on the touchline down below us. So Aldershot temporarily down to 10. And Tom Ellsworth, I mentioned earlier, one of my old schoolmates, just making sure that Lyons Foster's okay. Just blood coming from the nose. I think some Vaseline's about to be added as well. But Aldershot still continue with Paniatu over on that left-hand side. Sandwiched between both Lofthouse and Collier. Opts to go back and safely to find Ogie. Ogie now, first time cross is a high one, searching towards the back post where Bettimer is there, gets the first header, brings it down right-footed, trying to turn away from Casey, squares the ball, but not near Edsa or Paniatu, and Woking can clear the lines with Lofthouse. It's excellent play there from Newball, newly pronounced Joel Newball, and Lofthouse now seeking Davison now, Davison into the Aldershot box, Davison gets the strike away straight at Walker, closest Woking have come.
Yeah, that was a good build-up. Angle a bit tight for Davison really, but he did very well. He did very well to his paces there. Got the shot on target. It was just too narrow, so a comfortable save in the end for Walker. Forward
from the Aldershot goalkeeper, and once again just evades anyone in a yellow shirt and safely gives possession back to Craig Ross. We've played 25 minutes here at the Laithwaite. I think it's time for another update from our other game around this area. Well, not really, because it's up in Bolton, and watching that one for us is Gary Smith.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. Just approaching 26 minutes gone at the University of Bolton Stadium. Still no goals between the two sides, but both sides have come close in the last couple of minutes. George Frankham, the Crawley Town skipper, burst into the penalty area, went round the goalkeeper, but the angle was a little bit tight, and he managed to roll it back and hit the woodwork. But then Bolton broke down the other end, and Jones had a great run into the Crawley penalty area, squared it for Sarcevic, and his shot went up and over the top of Glenn Morris's crossbar. Crawley have been really enjoying the lion's share of possession, but haven't created a great deal at the moment. Bolton starting to come back into it a little bit more at the moment, but 26 and a half on the clock. No goals at the moment. Bolton 0, Crawley Town 0.
Thanks very much indeed, Gary. Header there from Rees, cut out by Block, and here's Josh Casey now, turning away from Bettimer. Now with Ferdinand to Cooper. Cooper with the outside of the boot looking for Loza, cut out by Fowler. Here's Loza once again. He's got the Aldershot right back all over him, and Cook just gets his feet in a muddle, and Fowler could have played Paniatu down the line there. Going to try and play the throw-in quickly. We saw on Boxing Day, Ian, that any mistake can just lead to a goal.
Well, that's right, and Jack Cook immediately put his hands up to apologise. That was a mistake there, but it's symptomatic really of how tight the play is. It's in front of us. It was just very tight with both teams trying to get any space whatsoever.
Here's Davison now wrestling with Lyons Foster, and he's found Cooper, who nicks it away from Fowler. And he's just pushed to the ground there by Rees, Woking free kick. Aldershot Town not happy with that decision.
I think it was clearly a free kick there, and it's gone quick take. That was mucked up, but it's come back to Kane Ferdinand here.
Lovely turn from Ferdinand, just barged off it by Rees. Turned away from 3 Aldershot players. And Woking have a free kick in this area of the pitch, as I mentioned earlier. It's just starting to turn up a little. It is the time of year, but same sort of ground that we saw on Monday. Just gets very difficult to play through, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's the area of the pitch that has historically been a problem. I think basically we've got a river near here, and underneath the drainage pipes get blocked up. I think that was sorted the last couple of years, but it looks as though it's happening again.
Cooper with the resulting free kick. It's a good one. Up goes Ferdinand, but he's offside. The referee will pull it back for a free kick. It's still been a game of few opportunities here, and you already get the sense that, as we mentioned a few moments ago, maybe one mistake, one error from either defence might allow the other team in. But still, honours even here, and it remains goalless on our BBC Radio Surrey special. Derby Day here, kicking off 2021. Walker with the free kick for Aldershot, former Dover keeper, of course, 7 years there at Crabble. There's Block. Now to Bettimer on the right-hand side, challenged by Casey, has to go back to Fowler, who curls one down the line, but it bounces off the chest of Ferdinand and away by Lyons Foster. Kept in by Block, and Ferdinand there wins the throw. Casey down the line for Davison, lovely touch.
I don't know how sensitive these microphones are, Mark, but quite juicy language there from the pitch.
Apologies if you did pick up any of that fruitful language. Crossed by Loza, might fall to Davison, cut up by Rees. He's done really well, the Aldershot number 8, and can now set Paniatu away as Collier goes over to chase Paniatu, the only Aldershot Town player forward at the moment. They are starting to gather in the box. There's Edsa and Whittingham, I should say, but Paniatu wins the throw.
Yeah, Paniatu did very well there because he didn't really have much support around him. There was no point crossing it in because I don't think at that point anyone had got up with play. So a throw in here to Aldershot, very near the corner post.
Ogie will go take that one, the Irish left back on loan from Leyton Orient. Going to see one of these long throws sent into the box. Bettimer and Newball right at the front post. Headed away by Ferdinand once again, who will go and chase down. The cross from Ogie wasn't great, and Kretschmar gets it away. Cross comes Fowler and wins it in the air. Cooper there first to it for Woking. Ogie's gone to ground, but he will be okay. Aldershot Town throw. Looking long and short, only Edsa and Paniatu there. Here is the latter, turning away from Collier, but there was a foul in there from Nathan Collier, and a chance in for Aldershot to set something up from this free kick.
Yeah, it's very similar to the free kick earlier on, and very dangerous position. I would imagine it would be Toby Edsa to take, curling in. But these corners are always these free kicks are always difficult to handle from that position if they're whipped in.
Edsa will stand over this one. Of course, Alan Dowson and many of the Woking players in this team will know him all too well. The likes of Casey and Cook playing with him not too long ago, and Kretschmar as well. He's got an eye for a set piece, the former Notts Forest and Charlton youth player. Notts Forest under-21 captain. Here comes the cross. It's a dangerous one, cleared away by a Charlton loanee, Josh Davison. It's Edsa keeping it in play, turning away from his former teammate, Matt Kretschmar. Back to Whittingham. Short pass looking for Rees, who plays it straight through the middle, but cut up by Collier. Whittingham leaves it for Edsa, right-footed up in the air. Nodded clear by Collier. There's Edsa arriving on the scene once again. Leaves it for Newball. Newball trying to get around Lofthouse, goes short. And the cross comes in, it's seeking out Bettimer, and Cook just enough, did enough. Just enough, did enough. Got his head to it.
Yeah, that could have easily ended as an own goal, but Jack Cook just getting free. Now, sustained pressure here from Aldershot now in the last 2 or 3 minutes. Whip balls in, and now another corner. And Woking defensively will have to have their wits about them.
Edsa picking up a new ball off one of the cones surrounding the Laithwaite here. Under new regulations, of course, as we see Tyler Reid and Slavi Sparsov both go for a little warm-up. Of course, Slavi Sparsov, who turned 19 on New Year's Eve. Here's the corner from Edsa, right towards the front post. Might have got a slight nick on from Whittingham, but it evades everyone in the end, and it's picked up by Kretschmar right at the back post. Out for a Woking throw on that far side.
Yes, as I say, sustained pressure, good defence from Woking. But it really is a game. It's hard to tell how this game is going to go, really. It's both teams having their little spells of ascendancy, but again, nothing of real quality to just get that opening and get the opening goal.
Was both sets of teams looking to bounce back for different reasons. Woking from the defeat on Boxing Day, and Aldershot from that surprise loss at Hewish Park on Monday. Here's Casey now. Has to go down the line, but it's cut out easily by Bettimer. Bettimer gets a square ball right from one flank to another and just goes through everyone, really. It's been that sort of game, really, Ian, hasn't it?
Yeah. It's the pitch isn't the easiest, and but that ball, you think, well, who's it going to go to? Who's going to get their foot on it and make something happen? And it just went through everybody for a Woking throw.
Davison and Newball wrestling for the ball once again. Bettimer touches it down for Fowler, brings it into the Woking half, brings it around Loza, but Loza He's going to beat him for pace, and Casey assists his winger and cleans up. That ball did go out of play for an Aldershot Town throw right down below us here in the dugouts that we can see. Ian Dye, Alan Dowson, Martin Tyler patrolling for Woking. Danny Searle immediately down to our left. All wrapped up. It's not the coldest of afternoons here at the Laithwaite. It certainly has been colder in recent weeks. Fowler finds Edsa. Fowler gets it back. Straight forward to Paniatu. Chests it down for Edsa. But that will roll straight through to Craig Ross. You sense that Aldershot have had the better of the first half, but again, not really too many chances for either goalkeeper to save.
No, they haven't. They've certainly had quite sustained pressure in the last 5 minutes or so, and a poor kick there from Ross.
We saw that at home to Eastleigh on Monday. That's a better clearance. Up goes Ferdinand for the header and wins it. Knocked on by Kretschmar. Davison could be through, but Lyons Foster is there to attend. Finds Newball. Goes back to Ogie. And Ogie will drill it forward, looking for Paniatu. Up goes Cook for the header. Tommy Block has time to bring this down, and it's a wayward clearance. Collier was just tripped there by Paniatu as he went to challenge for the ball in the air. Woking free kick.
I think Tommy Block would be quite relieved at
Absolutely.
that. That was I don't know where he was going with that, but it ended up going backwards. No, I think a neutral or anyone just seeing this match on its own would say actually the sides are pretty well matched. I think there's not much between them really, and both the games so far, although it's 3-0, it was quite a tight match, and certainly the 2-1 victory was a tight match. So for Woking was a tight match. So it's what you'd expect really. It's both sides pretty matched, in a sense, cancelling each other out at the moment.
Well, this time last season, after Woking had been smashed 6-2 at Sutton, they were in 10th position. They're in 10th position today. Aldershot currently 16th in today's table. This time last year were 2 places worth off in 18th. And Phillips will leave that one for Walker. Just over 5 minutes to go until half-time. Still remains Woking 0, Aldershot Town 0. Of course, this time last week, Aldershot were 3 goals to the good. They could be through here with Newball, offloading to Paniatu, bounces off the head of Lofthouse. And deflects its way straight to Craig Ross, who gets the clearance away straight away. Good touchdown from Davison, just slightly too strong in the end. Better on the right-hand side. Finds Fowler, left-footed clearance is a poor one, and that will go out for a Woking throw.
Davison getting another knock there. He seems to have had one every 2 or 3 every game now 2 or 3 times, and limping. I think it was just. I think he'll run it off.
It was Phillips's clearance who just caught Davison on the follow-through. Totally accidental, of course. Ferdinand with the header. Cooper to the second. Loza goes for the third, but won by Lyons Foster. Here's Jamal Loza once again. Just left the ball behind him, and it's put forward there. Out for a Woking throw, more or less in the same position it was 10-15 seconds ago. Casey has it, just in front of his manager. Makes up a bit of ground as well. There's Reese with the header. Block and Edsa, two of the smallest men on the pitch, going to war in the air there. Davison's header's a poor one. Real lack of quality, it must be said, from both sides at the minute. In terms of possession, you'd probably say Aldershot are the team in front, and sustained pressure for that matter as well. Fowler with a throw. Down the line looking for Bettimer. Both players barging each other with shoulders. Up goes Cooper. Ferdinand wins it back from Reese. Over the head looking for Davison as Phillips has a job to do here. Just puts it straight up in the air. The Wickham loanee. Kretschmar will go and win a Woking throw, which he wants to take quickly. Lofthouse has gone there to say, no thanks, that's mine. Short throw to Cooper. Safest option clearly is to go back, and same from Collier, all the way back to Craig Ross. Wants to go short to Cook, but dummies his intended pass. Opts to go forward, over the head of Davison. Phillips up in the air. Ferdinand is to it secondly, looking for Loza, cut out by Ogie. Ferdinand wins it back to find Davison. First time strike. There was a deflection on its way through, and Woking have a rare corner.
Yeah, I think, is that the first Woking corner of the game?
Second, I think.
Second. Yeah, Woking, their main point of attack seems to be, if they get it, Craig Ross gets it, or defenders get it, is a long ball forward, looking for the second ball. as it goes through. Often the target from throw-ins and corners is Ferdinand's head, as we've seen. He's done quite well on that during the game.
Josh Casey on corner kick duties now on the left-hand side. Right hand in the air. It's a good corner looking for Kretschmar. Nodded away by Phillips. Edser nods it out of danger. That's swept up by Cooper. Plays it straight back down the line looking for Casey. But Cooper gets it back. Charlie Cooper for Woking. Woking's number 4. Lofts it forward looking for Casey. Casey in an unnatural position of his when to throw on that far side.
And after a spell of Aldershot pressure, we've now just got a little spell here of Woking pressure.
Yep. That's be Jack Cook, who's on long throw duties once again. Gambles the likes of Collier and Cooper forward. Lofthouse wants to go short and gets it. Does still have Jack Cook there for support, but Lofthouse wants to go himself. He's going to hit the byline here, Lofthouse. Last touch came off Ogie, and it will be another Woking corner.
Well, ringing the changes there, everyone was expecting the Jack Cook long throw, which is the norm, and Kieran Lofthouse finding a bit of space and winning the corner. He's improved a lot for Woking. He's on loan from Oxford United, and you know, as a right back, has really found his feet, I think, and has been playing pretty well. And obviously, as all loanees, as we were saying earlier, just learning the game, learning the adult game.
Certainly omitted errors from his game, having conceded what I think was 2 penalties in his first 3 home games,
yes,
which he's put out of his game for now, luckily. Casey, right towards the front post this time, cleared away by an Aldershot head, falls to the feet of that man, Karen Lofthouse. Back to Casey, left-footed cross, nodded down by Cook. He's going to get a second go here. He's going to fall to Loza now, brings it down left-footed, wants to get it back on his right, twisted and turn away from 2 Aldershot players. Square ball, looking for Lofthouse, left-footed strike, looking for Kretschmar, and it's hacked away by Edser. Bouncing around in the Aldershot box, no one really with a clean side of goal. Here's Casey, thrusting one forward once again, looking for that man. Kane Ferdinand knocks it down for Davison, cut out by Lyons. Foster will fall to Loza there. And referee waving away any claims. He's given a goal kick.
Yes, that was a soft from Loza, I think. I don't think there was any realistic expectation that was going to be a penalty. And but again, well defended by Aldershot, and good pressure from Woking there. For both sides have had their spells, haven't they, in this half, and both defensive one out. Midfield is just a battle, really. There's very little constructive play in midfield. It's just the 6 players just slogging it out with each other, really.
Forward from Mitch Walker. Cook, unmarked, gets there to the header first, and then Davison. Loza looking to latch on the end of that one. Lyons, Foster and Loza come together. I think that's just an act of football, that one. 2 players coming together. There's block up for the header. Cooper to the second, but beaten in the air by Rees. Bounces off the head this time of block. Ferdinand intervenes. Away by Cook, but there was a foul in there on Edser. Free kick Aldershot.
You really don't envy referees, do you? I mean, there were 2 or 3 incidents there, could have gone either way. I think Loza had a good shout there for a free kick. I think Edser's was probably quite similar.
Yeah.
You know, and that time he did blow. Josh Casey trying to tell the referee what decisions he should have made.
Edser wants to go short, looking for Paniatu, who found a bit of space, but block eyed up the danger. The referee now blows his whistle. Again, Aldershot have sent some of the big men forward. Here goes Edser, right towards the back post. I think the last touch came off an Aldershot player. It did. I think it bounced off Cook rather, and then off an Aldershot head in there somewhere. There are so many players in that field of play, but it will be a Woking goal kick as we approach half time. 2 managers will have to fire out some different instructions at the break, because it's been a slow game, a lack of quality, but as we mentioned 1 or 2 times during this game, it's probably Aldershot that have the narrow advantage, and 4 additional minutes to the first half, which you don't see all that often.
No, there was an extended break over there, wasn't there? Yes, I would imagine Danny Searle and Alan Dowson's styles are different. I don't know, but I would imagine for a lot of the players, Danny Searle is a lot easier to understand at half-time.
Here's Rees. Didn't get the clearance he wanted, seeking out Newball, and that'll be a Woking throw on that far side. You're right, Ian. I think a very much contrasting set of ideas and styles between the 2 managers, not in terms of their team tactics or selections, but just by the way they go about and do things. Here's Kretschmar just getting back to his feet. Lofthouse lofting one forward, seeking out Davison. But Loza will keep that in play instead. Loza trying to turn away from Ogie. Woking throw.
Yeah, I think it would be unfair to categorise Dowse as just a sort of old school manager. I think there's a lot more to him than that. But he certainly does have that sort of work ethic complemented by Ian Dyer, whereas Danny Searle is very much of the coaching tradition, you know, done all his badges coming through. I think he...
Long throw from Cook. Doesn't beat the first man, Ogie, but forced to block on the edge of the box. Block, nods that down to Loza, who lofts one into the box. Walker's come a long way to try and claim this and gets two strong hands to it.
Well done by Mitch Walker there. Yeah, Danny Searle, I know he knew Anthony Limbrick, who was here at Woking, and they were similar in approach and style, really, you know, in terms of a new breed, if you like, and having done all their badges and approach, very much a coaching approach to management.
Up goes Betterman for the header, got the slightest of touches. One back by Cook and drilled forward by Casey. Again, Davison underneath this one with Phillips, who wins it once more. Now with Cooper, who goes long looking for Loza. Swept up by Lyons Foster, but here's Kretschmar. Wave on wave, a Woking attack. Here's Kretschmar now, lofting one into the box, seeking out Davison, well dealt with by Phillips. Can they get it away? They can, only to the feet of Cooper. Bounces off the back of Lyons Foster, and eventually Aldershot Town get it away off the head of Collier now. Forward once again, one by Phillips in the air. Bettimer just puts it up rather than forward. Up goes Block for the header. And again, neither side really wanting to play on the deck at the minute. Here's Newball, outside of the boot, looking for Paniatu, stretching his legs forward to keep that in play. Paniatu on the right-hand side for Aldershot. Short pass to find Mo Bettimer, lofting one into the box towards the back post. Free header! Oh, was there a save by Craig Ross? Not too sure. I think it came off the post, and eventually Woking get it away.
Yeah, great attack there by Aldershot. Paniatu, great ball in, and I think at both ends we saw suddenly the game livened up. Maybe it was the attraction of the half-time tea or whatever they have nowadays, but it's... No, great attack there by Aldershot, and unlucky. It was hard to tell from here because we don't get any monitor replays or anything, but it looked like it was the post, I think.
Yeah. Alfie Whittingham's header coming off the side of the post. That's probably the closest we've come to a goal so far. So plenty for Rob Worrell to discuss at the break from an Aldershot perspective. They've looked the more livelier, it must be said. Here's Newball from the short throw. Can they find a lead just before the break? Cross comes in from Ogie, bounces off Lofthouse, who will go and track his man once again. Ogie trying to take it around the Oxford loanee, who chips it forward, seeking out Newball, who's been a busy boy on that left-hand side, trying to take it around the returning Max Kretschmar, but he did well, and eventually they get it away thanks to Charlie Cooper. Bounces off the leg of Newball, which will find its way into the box, but swept up by Craig Ross. Last few seconds of the first half, after 4 minutes were added on. Craig Ross with a couple of bounces of the ball as the sun begins to go down beyond the Leslie Gosling stand. The floodlights already on, of course. Cook hits one forward, cut up by Lyons Foster. Ferdinand there to it first. That's it for the first half. The referee blows the whistle for half-time, and Ian Nicholson very much honours even at the break.
Yeah, very much. It hasn't been a game for the purists by any means, but it has been a derby. It's been tight. Both sides have had sniffs of chances. Probably the closest we saw near the end there when we think the post was hit from the header. But yeah, a good derby. Who knows which way this is going to go?
It could go
and
either
your
way.
0-0 is still an option, though. Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. Ian, thanks very much for your thoughts in the first half. Best opportunity, it must be said, coming from Aldershot Town just before the break there. Alfie Whittingham's header just rebounding off the post. Thankfully for Woking going wide. Unfortunately for Woking, didn't find the back of the net. But this time, last week, Aldershot were 3 goals to the good. But today, it remains goalless. At the break, Woking 0, Aldershot Town 0. Back to Tim Durrant in the studio.
Great stuff. Thank you to Mark and to Ian. So goalless, the shots hitting the post. We'll get reflections of our shots commentator Rob Worrell, who, due to the COVID restrictions, unable to travel to Woking today. We'll get his thoughts in a moment's time. But without further ado, up to Bolton, or technically not to Bolton, to Gary Smith's front room as well. Crawley Town playing Bolton Wanderers in League 2. And did it finish goalless at half-time, Gary Smith?
Yeah, indeed it did, Tim. Those players have just trooped off. Half-time, Bolton 0, Crawley Town 0. Crawley well in control of this game for long spells of the first half. Went very close after 22 minutes when skipper George Frankham went into the box and around the goalkeeper, but could only hit the post from a very, very tight angle. Bolton responded almost immediately. A run by Jones on the left-hand side He rolled the ball infield to Sarcevic, and his shot went up and over Glenn Morris's crossbar. Jack Powell then had a chance after 31 minutes. He took a corner, it pinballed around the penalty area, came back to Jack Powell, and his left-footed shot was saved by the feet of the Bolton Wanderers goalkeeper. But then once again, the Wanderers went back down the other end, and Glenn Morris was forced into a decent save at his near post. Probably just about right on the balance of play. Crawley 52% to 48% ahead in terms of possession, but neither side yet able to make the breakthrough. Bolton 0, Crawley Town 0 at half-time.
Great stuff, Gary Smith. He's off to have another chocolate milkshake. We'll look at the table and the other scores in League Two in a moment's time. But let's get some reflections on the half we've just heard. Aldershot Town being held 0-0 at Woking. Rob Worrell, our Aldershot Town commentator, watching this one for us. Rob, your view from an Aldershot perspective. Mark thought perhaps Aldershot had the slightly better of it.
Very, very slightly. Not a lot in it. I got sort of 3 or 4 half chances from both sides, Tim. In fairness, it's not the greatest game. You can see both sides playing first and foremost to make sure that they don't lose it. Obviously, the best chance of the game coming just before half-time. Good counter-attack from Aldershot, and Alfie Whittingham, who's got that header in his locker, really, beats the keeper, but it comes back off of the post. I felt it might be a draw today. It's looking more like a 0-0 than a 1-1 at the moment, but I think probably the biggest threat for Woking looks to be Davison, but he's a little bit isolated. He's working very, very hard. For Aldershot, of the 4 players that have come in, I think 3 of them have had very, very good halves. Mitch Walker's been steady, not too much to do, but Alfie Whittingham, probably the pick. He's won an awful lot of possession for shots in midfield, and Cody Lyons-Foster has done well too. In terms of what might happen in the second half, Tim, well, 2 thoughts really. I think Jamal Loza has to be very careful. He got booked early on, and he could have picked up a second yellow for going down too easily in the penalty area. And finally, from Aldershot Town's point of view, the most likely way they'll score is if they bring Ricky Miller off the bench.
Rob, thank you. Great stuff. So that's Rob Worrell, who does our Aldershot Town commentaries, either on Shots TV and or on online and on the radio at times. And he'll be back at the next home game. So 0-0 in our derby in the National League. Other scores in that division: Chesterfield 1 up on Solihull Moors. Stockport County a goal up on Altrincham. That's just kicked off, that one, by the looks of it. Weymouth 0, Eastleigh 1 in that one. So those are the scores in National League. National League South, late first half penalty for Hampton and Richmond Borough. They lead Dorking Wanderers by a 0-0. Dorking, of course, beaten by the same opposition in Surrey on Boxing Day by a 0-0. So at the moment, the revenge is not being sought. They are trailing again by a 0-0. That's half-time in National League South. Reminder, in League 2, Crawley goalless in their game. It's a Forest Green who are the presumptive leaders at the moment. They're 1-1 with Oldham. Cambridge United winning 2-0 at Grimsby. Leyton Orient 1, Salford 0. Mansfield Town 2 up at home to Port Vale. Stevenage 2-1 up at home to Scunthorpe, and it's Walsall 0. Carlisle United 1. Elsewhere in the Premier League, earlier today, Spurs 3, Leeds United 0. Spurs up to 3rd in the Premier League table, still 4 points behind Man United and the leaders Liverpool, who both have 33 points. Crystal Palace 2 up now at half-time at home to Sheffield United. So Sheffield United, the bottom side, with just 2 points this season, losing again at her away to Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace 2, Sheffield United 0. The Sheffield United score would be good news for Brighton and Hove Albion. Of course, they're struggling just outside the bottom 3. They're at home to Wolves at 5:30 tonight. Wolves have struggled, of course, to score too many goals without their injured player Raul Jimenez, of course, with that concussion. But Albion head coach Graham Potter still expecting a tough test.
At the top end of the pitch, they've got some real quality. So a lot of what they've done is still there. They're a tough opponent, and we're going to have to be fighting in our best.
Injured Jimenez out with the leg injury. So that is the game at 5:30 for our Sussex listeners, with Johnny and Warren from 5 tonight. At 8, fellow strugglers West Brom welcome Arsenal. They've bounced back, haven't they, winning their last 2, including, of course, beating the Albion. Well, the boss of the Gunners, Mikel Arteta, says his new signings are going to have to adapt to the Premier League's hectic winter schedule. Tonight will be their 5th game in 15 days.
We used to say to new players, welcome to the Premier League. you know, when it gets the winter time, it's freezing, the pitch is not great, it's windy, and you start to have to deal with 50 long balls, aerial duels, very physical teams. But this league, you need to get through that.
That's Mikel Arteta. Tomorrow's big game between the two strugglers, Fulham and Burnley, is off. That was at Turf Moor. It's been postponed further. Positive COVID cases, of course, at the West London club Fulham. Their game last Wednesday against Spurs cancelled for the same reason. Well, to the Scottish Premiership today was the big one, the derby meeting between Rangers and Celtic. The leaders, Rangers, beat their arch rivals and the defending champions 1-0. That takes Stephen Gerrard's Rangers 19 points clear at the top of the Scottish Premiership, albeit, of course, having played 3 games more than Celtic. With the story of the game, here's Ali Bruce Ball.
Celtic on top in the first half. The Rangers goalkeeper, Alan McGregor, absolutely magnificent, in particular denying Lee Griffiths with one shot that looked destined for the top corner. Near Bitton, then sent off in the second half, and Rangers winning the game with the Callum McGregor own goal. They do not concede many this season. They have been a relentless winning machine.
So Rangers beating Celtic by 1-0. Good afternoon. Tim Darren's in the chair. It's a BBC Radio Surrey, a 2-hour commentary special. If you're a massive Joe Talbot fan, who is not, you can hear all the competitions unwinding on BBC Sussex via your smartphone, your digital radio and so on right now, if you can retune. Or he's back here at 5, between 5 and 6 as normal after our second half between Aldershot and Woking at the Laithwaite. Currently goalless between the two sides. In the Championship, Birmingham City 0, Blackburn 1, Huddersfield 1, Reading 0. Coventry leading 2-0 at Millwall this afternoon. High-flying Norwich being held 0-0 at home by Barnsley. Preston North End 0, Nottingham Forest 0. High-flying Swansea being held at home by Watford. That a goal apiece. And it's Wycombe 1. The strugglers, bottom side indeed, losing now at home to Middlesbrough. Wycombe Wanderers 1. Middlesbrough 2. The other 3 o'clocks have been called off due to COVID or weather in that division. 7:45 tonight, it is high-flying Bournemouth away to Stoke City. That is towards the top of the Championship. Well, let's switch sports. In fact, before we do that, I'll give you one breaking news in the past half hour or so. The former Spurs and Southampton boss, Mauricio Pochettino, has indeed been appointed head coach at Paris Saint-Germain. The 48-year-old, a former PSG player, of course. He replaces Thomas Tuchel, who was sacked 4 days ago. Pochettino out of work since being sacked by Spurs in November 2019. That, of course, a few months after taking to the Champions League final, where they lost to Liverpool. PSG third in League One as he takes over, and they meet Barcelona, of course, in a 2-legged last 16 in February and March in the Champions League. Let's switch to darts for you, and it is a semi-final day at Ali Pally. Gerwyn Price could become the first Welsh player ever to reach the William Hill World Darts final tonight. Dan Dawson is reporting.
It was at this stage last year that Price fell to the eventual champion Peter Wright, but this time around the world number 3 is the highest ranked player still standing, and he's favourite to win the title. Stephen Bunting, the former world champ from the BDO, stands in his way, but the bullet has been getting better as the William Hill World Championship's gone on. Meanwhile, 2-time winner Gary Anderson's the only former champ left in the field, and the Flying Scotsman's up against world number 8 Dave Chisnell, who produced what he called the best display of his career last night, thrashing world number 1 Michael van Gerwen 5-0. It left MVG unable to do anything but stand and applaud his opponents on stage.
Dan, thank you. And, of course, the darts are on Sky Sports tonight and over the weekend, the final of the World Darts Championship. And, of course, the title that used to be at the Lakeside, I think it is still going ahead now. It's been moved, of course, back up to, was it the O2 itself? The Lakeside giving it up after all those years. Well, coming up, we're going to return to the Laithwaite. It is Woking 0, Aldershot Town 0. Crawley goalless in League 2 as well, and Dorking Wanderers a goal down away to Hampton and Richmond Borough in National League South.
Into a new year
with Emily Jeffrey.
I'm looking forward to being back with you for Sunday breakfast and taking stock on the year that's been.
I think it has hit you know, a lot of people at the core of their identity, really.
And what's to come.
My goodness, hasn't life changed, and we're all coming to terms with it. And more than ever, we need to be able to stand by each other, even if we can't be with each other.
Emily Jeffrey.
Join me for the latest news, inspiring guests and beautiful music to ease you into Sunday morning.
Tomorrow morning from 6.
BBC Radio Surrey.
Do not miss it. Cracking show, 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. Bit early for some, but it's a cracking listen. Emily in the chair. Well, we're back to the Laithwaite in a moment's time. A reminder of the headlines locally and nationally. The PSG job of Thomas Tuchel. He was sacked. It's been given, as many expected, to Mauricio Pochettino. He will be taking over immediately. They're third in League One in France. Locally, of course, Woking 0, Aldershot 0. We're back there in a moment's time. In National League South, Dorking Wanderers a goal down away at Hampton and Richmond Borough. In League 2, Crawley Town could enter the playoffs this evening. They are 0-0 away at Bolton Wanderers. Gary Smith will be watching that one for us throughout the second half. In the Premier League, Spurs have beaten Leeds by 3-0 to move up to third. In the 3 o'clock game, Crystal Palace leading Sheffield United by 2-0. Jeffrey Schlupp on 4 minutes and Eze 6 minutes into injury time there in the first half. So Palace 2, Sheffield United 0. A reminder as the players come out at the Laithwaite that at 5:30 it is Aldershot. It is Brighton and Albion against Wolves, and at 8 o'clock tonight it is West Brom and Arsenal. But back to the National League, the battle to try and get into the top 4 divisions, of course, in the football pyramid. Can Aldershot return to the league? You never know. Woking, of course, have sniffed the last couple of seasons. Let's return to the Laithwaite. Ian Nicholson alongside Mark Francis.
Thanks very much indeed, Tim. Yes, both teams back out for the second half. Woking going through a quick warm-up to get themselves raring to go for the second half, whereas Aldershot very much in their natural positions. Mitch Walker just putting down his bottle and towel away to our right, and Woking now split apart and get ready for the second half. No changes at the break, it seems, so still the same 11 for both teams. Craig Ross continues in goal for Woking with Lofthouse, Collier, Cook and Casey. The midfielder Block, Cooper and Ferdinand. Kretschmar on the right, Loza, who has been booked, on the left, Davison through the middle. Unchanged Aldershot as well. Walker in goal, Ogie, Phillips, Lyons Foster and Fowler at the back. Rees, Edser and Whittingham in midfield. Newball, Paniatu and Bettimer, the front line for the shots. Thumbs up from the referee, making sure all 11 are out. Indeed they are. Linesmen are raring to go. Second half action here on BBC Radio Surrey. Derby Day continues. Second half coming your way right now. Whistle blows. And off we go. Forward from Lyons Foster. It's going to go straight through to Craig Ross. No changes at the break, Ian. Is that a surprise from either side's perspective?
No, I don't think so. I think it's normally around the 60-minute mark that the managers tend to make their changes. Alan Dowson is often accused of leaving a little bit late, and Danny Searle as well, I think, from time to time. So, no, I don't think either side have played well enough or badly enough to warrant any changes at half-time.
Here's Bettimer holding up the ball for Aldershot. Square pass to find Whittingham. Offloads to Fowler. Gets the ball back, Whittingham. Former Hungerford player, of course, would have played against Woking in the 2018-19 season. Was voted their Young Player of the Year for that campaign. Signed for Aldershot in July 2019. It's been here 18 months now. Header from Collier. Cook goes on forward looking for Davison. Phillips wins the header. Brought down now by Edser. Edser, who just slipped as he tried to play the ball forward, but Whittingham turns away from both Kretschmar and Davison. Straight at Lofthouse. Lofthouse taking it around the latter. And here he goes on one of these runs down the right-hand side. Working throw.
Again, a good little touch there from Lofthouse. I think it was Whittingham. It took him by good skill. But really, you know, what the game is looking for is, as we were saying earlier, is that moment of quality, really. I think it's very much a derby. It's a heavy pitch. It's a midfield battle. and everything's getting a little bit bogged down. And looking at some of the comments half-time, listening to some of the comments half-time, people are saying very similar, really. It's not a great game, but it is a competitive game, and there's no, the effort is there and the passion is there. It's just that little bit of skill and quality to create the opening.
Here's Davison with his back to goal, 20 yards out. Leaves it for Ferdinand. Sliding challenge from Edsa. Can't see which way the referee's given a free kick. I think it's gone Aldershot's way. Not really too sure what for. But the same 11 for both teams. Working with options on the bench with Tarpey, Jarvis and Sparsoff. Dempsey with defensive cover. For Aldershot, of course, the eye is drawn to Ricky Miller. Will we see him come on for Danny Sell? Of course, Cheeky Candy there as well. James Rowe, Alex Finney, and spare goalkeeper Brad James. Forward from Walker. Collier underneath this one, comes off the back of Paniatu and cleared away by Cook. Up to Davison. Kretschmar hits it long, looking for Loza, who I mentioned is on a yellow card and probably wants to be a little bit careful given his track record in the past. Chest it down beautifully to find Cooper now, who's making ground on that left-hand side, just slips as Casey was on the overlap, but Cooper's maintained possession for Woking. Block turns away from Cook's pass, but slightly too strong. Whittingham's there, but Ferdinand deals with it for Woking. Now with Lofthouse, just down below us here. Gets it forward, looking for Kretschmar, goes up for the header. Chested down by Whittingham, taken off him by Ferdinand, who was, I think, pulled to the ground there. And Woking get a free kick.
A couple of free kicks since half-time, both of which I think could have gone either way, really. One earlier, Josh Davison looking bewildered, and I think this one probably was a free kick to Woking, and Josh Casey will get a chance to deliver it in, but very much most of the chances now are coming from set pieces,
which will be taken by Josh Casey. Every Woking player forward, bar Tommy Block. Every Aldershot Town player back. That might be too close to the goalkeeper, who gets a good old punch on it. Block will sweep up for Woking. Short pass to find Cooper. Cooper down the left-hand side, seeking out Loza. The ball kept in play by the former Kings Lynn man. Clip forward looking for Ferdinand. Now with Block. Switches it to the other flank to find Lofthouse. Lofthouse taken away from Newball. Lacking support really in a Woking sense. And just strong. Too much strength for Lofthouse. Newball. He managed 10 goals in 34 appearances for Concord last season. It's a player of real quality as he wriggles through Lofthouse now and didn't get the free kick that he wanted. Header from Phillips. Ogie now turns away from Davison and blasts that one up in the air. That one might land above us. There it is. Probably hear the ball bounce about a foot in front of us. New ball required as Ferdinand just goes to ground.
I think he's putting his boot on. I think he lost his boot in one of those. You can tell it's tier 4, just where I got a break, with Kane Ferdinand's hair. He normally has a very short haircut for every game, but it's certainly a little bit longer today. I'm looking around for any other players. Tommy Block either does his own or he's very short, so he obviously does his own.
Josh Davison's profile picture for Woking is him with shorter hair, and I haven't seen that at all the whole season, so he's probably looking forward to getting to a barber's. Now Jacket's coming forward to take this long throw. A couple of his throws in the first half didn't beat the first man, where Kane Ferdinand is usually stationed. And there he is once again. Shrajak Ogie is going to go and keep him company. Again, it's short from Cook, but it's flicked on by Collier. It's not very well dealt with by Aldershot. Falls to Cooper on the edge of the box, gets the strike away. It's well defended, gets another strike. And 2 goes in a matter of seconds. Doesn't test Mitch Walker. Goal kick.
Yeah, neither were really on, really. I think he was on the edge of the area. I thought, well, I've got a chance of a shot, but by then he was being closed down. And again, we simply move on, really. Looking at the benches, I think, obviously from an Aldershot perspective, Ricky Miller is the interesting name. A lot of sort of rumours that were pretty clear from quite a while ago where Ricky would end up, but be interesting to see if we do see him today.
Edsa away from Block. Locates Paniatu, who's having his shirt pulled by Lofthouse. Referee allows play to go on. Paniatu switching to the right flank to find Fowler. Getting forward from Aldershot from right back. Has to go safe to Lyons Foster. Launches it forward looking for Paniatu again. Collier is there. Kretschmar, who was pushed by Edser. It's only a slight nick from Edser. Kretschmar made most of it. But,
I was going to say, it was a foul. He was nudged, but he
just to make sure.
He certainly made sure the ref knew he'd been nudged.
Of course, busy periods coming up for both these two teams. Woking travel to Wrexham next in the league before travelling to Bromley in the FA Trophy. They've got the rearranged visit at Altrincham before the next here at home to Maidenhead. Meanwhile, Aldershot have back-to-back home games against Barnet and Solihull. Solihull in the FA Trophy before a localist trip to high-flying Wildston. We did have a good start to life in the National League. There's Cook. As Cooper goes down. Wildston, just looking at the table, have just slackened off a little bit recently. Lots of clubs catching up on games. Aldershot and Woking having played the same amount before today. Both their 16th games of the season. Davison goes down there as Phillips caught him, and Phillips will get himself a yellow card. First for Aldershot of the day.
Yeah, it's hard to see from this angle, but Davison certainly turned him. It looked as though the ball had gone away from him, but referee in no doubt there.
Yep. There he is, Ricky Miller, going on to warm up. He's got his shorts and his socks ready, so. But given by his Twitter account last night, we said before the game, Ian, that he was most likely to feature at some stage.
Yes, I would be surprised if he didn't.
Cooper and Casey hovering over this free kick. Again, central defenders up for Woking. Casey leaves it for Cooper. It's low. Again, doesn't beat the first man. Cleared away by Phillips. Lowe's is chasing down Rees. Now with Newball. Back to Lyons Foster. Curling one forward up the pitch. Cut out by Block. Seeking out Davison, who just managed to keep onside there, but it's taken off him by Phillips, who's been excellent at the back, it must be said, for Aldershot, despite just being booked. Bettimer. Short pass to find Edser. Turning away from Cooper. Edser with only Whittingham in support. Locates him behind him. Got Ogie and Edser there on this left side. Edser, short pass for Ogie. Ogie is onside. First time crosses low. Seeking out Paniatu, trying to turn away from Collier. Cooper just got in his way, and Collier will see that out for a Woking goal kick.
Nathan Collier's been in for about 3 games now, beginning by replacing Cook. And it's the fact that he's performed pretty well is shown by the fact that Saul Shotton is the player who's missed out today, and Collier, who's 35 now, and is. But he very rarely has let Woking down over two or three seasons. Not
Mr. Reliable, I suppose.
Yeah, he's a utility player. He's Mr. Reliable. Never grabs many headlines, but he's just solid.
Played 57 times in his first 2 seasons for Woking. Just his 10th starting appearance for the Cards today. We mentioned Centurions, Craig Ross and Jack Cook. Both 100 appearances here today. Jack Cook's 100th start. It's Craig Ross' 100th appearance. But Craig Ross obviously hasn't really featured as a substitute since his signing. Bettimer now. Curling one into the box, again dealt with by Collier. Rees will go and pick it up for Aldershot. Lofting it forward. No yellow shirt underneath this one. Casey is there first to it. Curdinand rises to the header first, and Cooper there second time, but again cut out by Rees, who just caught by Cooper there. A bit naughty there from Charlie Cooper, but he might just get away with it in terms of a booking.
Yeah, there was a little reaction from the Aldershot player, but it's, well, we've said it. How many times have we said it? It's scrappy, a lot of headers. It's a midfield battle.
Both sets of teams just packing out their midfield with 3.
1 minute we have a Cooper set piece, now we have a Toby Edser set piece.
12 yards inside the Woking half. He's going to thrust one forward to the back post, again dealt with by Nathan Collier. Aldershot coincidentally shooting from right to left as we look towards the Kingfield Road end. There was a push there from Cody Lyons Foster on Ferdinand, so Woking have a free kick. Woking left to right as we look towards the Leslie Gosling stand. Jarvis, Sparsov, both warming up for Woking. Chicky Candy there for Aldershot. So Alex Finney down the line I can see, and Dave Tarpey. So most of the substitutes for both teams probably just getting warm, if anything. So the temperature has dropped here. It's forced Ian Nicholson to put his hat on. Fowler clears for Aldershot, nodded on by Rees. Volleyed forward by Cook, flicked on by Davison. But again, the Aldershot central defenders stand firm. Craig Ross has come out of his goal to get to this one first and deals with it well enough. Shots throw, short to Edser. The game just beginning to liven up in the second half. It's going to become pretty stretched, it must be said, later on. Both teams still looking to go for this one. That's that different sense from Monday where it was very tiring 0-0 to watch. This is still full of energy, Ian.
It is. It's a better game than Monday, certainly, but
free kick goes Aldershot's way. And whilst they pick up the loose ball, quick chance to catch up what's going on between Bolton Crawley. Gary Smith.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. We played 54 minutes here at the University of Bolton Stadium, or should I say up at the University of Bolton Stadium. Still no change in the scoreline. It's still goalless. Bolton have started the second half very much brighter than they played the first half. They had a great chance after 50 minutes. Some last-ditch defending by Tony Craig, blocking Owen Doyle. Archie Davis making a run towards the edge of the box. It comes for a chance of a shot, and that's straight down the throat of goalkeeper Gilks, and he makes a relatively straightforward save for Bolton. Crawley starting to get back into it in the second half, but they have been under a little bit of pressure since the turn of the half. But at the moment, it's still Bolton 0, Crawley Town 0.
Thanks very much indeed, Gary. The free kick's been taken. Bettimer curls it in, chested down by Cooper, and Woking can bring it away on this right side. And was barged in the back there, Cooper, but the block kept in play by Ogie. So still goalless there between Bolton and Crawley. Updates throughout the second half there. Gary Smith watching from home, of course. And our Aldershot Town expert will be speaking at full time to Tim Durrant in the studio. Rob Worrell watching from home.
Well, I think we got the moment we've been expecting. I can see Ricky Miller getting ready there to come on. Where are we? We're probably about 60 minutes, I would think, aren't we?
This must be exciting times for Aldershot Town again to have a player of Ricky Miller. He's been out of football for a little while, it must be said, without a club since leaving Port Vale in 2019. Best known for his times, as I mentioned, at Dover, but also Boston United. A man full of goals, ready to liven up the National League once again, this time for Aldershot Town. And we mentioned before the game that, 5 years ago, the likes of Ross McCormack and Matt Jarvis, you would never have thought would be playing for the likes of Aldershot Town and Woking, and both really haven't set the world alight, but a chance for Ricky Miller here to do that himself.
Yeah, I think obviously Ross McCormack's only featured for a few minutes and is struggling for fitness. Matt Jarvis hadn't played for a few years, but is really, I think he needs a run against. But he's certainly had his moments.
Yeah.
And since he's worn a Woking shirt, and Ricky Miller, similar questions really, whether time out of the game will in any way, has stunted his quality, if you like, or whether he's someone who's going to really kick on. But I think it's always a big question mark over a player when they've been out for a while and have struggled with injuries and other things.
Joel Newball's day is over. He is coming off. It was a busy afternoon on the left side for Aldershot, and quite surprised he's being the man withdrawn. But then again, Ricky Miller has about half an hour to come on here and seemingly make the difference for Aldershot Town. We've played an hour here, and still it remains goalless. Edser with another free kick. Culling one onto the edge of the D, but dealt with by Woking. Picked up by Fowler. Here's Bettimer. It's a strange cross, but the linesman opted for corner, but the referee said, no, we're not having that. It's a goal kick. I didn't think there was a touch on it.
From what I saw, I think it was a strange decision because the linesman was only a couple of feet away, but from where we were, it looked as though Bettimer really just sliced it out.
Yeah.
And
just hit your car,
and certainly, yeah. No, mine's not. My car's not over there. It's already got a few dents anyway. But it's yeah. So the referee was a lot further away. Overruled the assistant referee, and I think rightly so.
Forward from Craig Ross. sea of yellow shirts go up for the header, but it was Woking who won it. They bring it down now with Rees. Chested down by Cook. Ricky Miller trying to turn the Woking man around. And Casey can't stop that going out for a throw. It's bundled over by Miller there, and sure Aldershot will know all too well now that's a definition of a Josh Casey free kick. Of a flick in the back, go down, and the ball's yours. Now, first change for Woking. It seems very much a tactical change, Woking, because Charlie Cooper is going to be the man withdrawn. Ben Dempsey will be coming on. It's not really an attacking-minded change in. Is this to steady the ship in midfield, do you feel?
Well, I think Dempsey. I think Cooper's played a lot of games. I think his set pieces are dangerous. He hasn't done anything wrong at all today. Dempsey's been quality, but has shown a few signs, I think, in the last couple of games of a bit of tiredness. So, but on his day, Ben Dempsey can make a real difference to a game. So, I think it's probably just to freshen things up.
His performances have particularly been highlighted at home. Better here than away. Was rested in the home game on Monday. Or against Hartlepool, rather. Long ball seeking out Paniatu, who eventually is given offside.
I don't like these delays nowadays before the flag goes up. I think it's actually till the player touches it, isn't it? But it's
particularly as there's no VAR in this league. There's no
there's no VAR, and with all due respect, you're used to a few wrong decisions here and there. So you're just thinking, has a mistake been made, or is it? But no, the mistake hadn't been made. It was just waiting for the moment to put the flag up.
Midway inside the Woking half, Craig Ross steps up to kick it long. Good header there from Davison, high from Kretschmar, and it will be a free kick Aldershot Town's way. The last 5-10 minutes have just sort of been stop-start, really.
Yeah.
And the second half started so brightly that it's a shame from a spectacle that it's slowing down. But we've got the opposite of slowing down coming on now with Matt Jarvis, the second change. This is different from Alan Dowson, as we mentioned, Ian.
Yeah, a little bit earlier than he has been often. Who we replace?
Loza, I imagine, having been booked. Yep, Jamal Loza's got off on that far side.
Yeah.
And Jarvis, once of Norwich, of course, once of West Ham, and once of Wolverhampton Wanderers, steps onto the field of play.
More importantly, along with Toby Edser, once of George Abbott School in Guildford.
Ah. This is why we pay
two ex-George Abbott players on the pitch.
Different experience as well, Jarvis and Edser.
Yeah.
Lovely turn there from Miller. Rolls it onto his left foot, being chased by Block all the way. Gets it back onto his right foot. Still going. Whittingham. Last touch off Jarvis there, I feel. It is. Aldershot throw.
Bit of a live wire around the box there, Miller. You can see looking for that opportunity to get a shot in, but Woking stuck to their task, and he to sort of run him into a corner, really, so he ended up laying it off.
Block gets the clearance away, met by Lyons Foster. Up goes Dempsey for his first touch of the ball. Ogie with a low header to find Whittingham. Now Edser now. Lovely ball to find Fowler, rolls across Jarvis. Jarvis does well to win the ball back for Woking and launches it clear, looking for Davison, but no one forward for Woking. Just get the ball clear at the minute from a Cards perspective. Aldershot beginning to dominate possession in the second half. Forward from Lyons Foster, touch forward from Bettimer. Cook gets it clear. Again, just gives it back to a man in a yellow shirt. Forward from Block. Davison now, pushed in the back, which Alan Dowson felt, I felt, but it's not given. Rees looking for Edser, around Casey. Once again cleared. Davison fouls this man there, Woking.
Yeah.
Sorry, Aldershot Town free kick. Which they take quickly. Whittingham asking for a bit of support. Locates Edser in the middle of the park. Block going to challenge, finds Ogie. Looking to go down the line, that ball's gone out of play. Woking throw.
Strong 5 minutes for Aldershot, really, and
just wave and wave, isn't it?
Building the pressure.
Yeah.
Woking really aren't really building anything from the back. There's a lot of long balls, but there's nothing really that's like we see there. This tactic seems to be get it forward, and then look for the second ball, and often they're not. I'm wondering if Davison, he's looking a little bit leggy and a little bit tired. I'm wondering if Spazov might replace him at some point soon.
Be the obvious change, wouldn't he? So it's just long ball forward to seek out Davison, but it's almost 4-on-1 in favour of Aldershot Town at most occurrences.
Yeah, there's been little built, certainly out wide, either from Jarvis or Kretschmar. Little build up down the wings, really. It's been long balls looking for the second ball coming back.
Casey not being allowed to turn is Miller. Working captain's done really well to take it off him. Curls one up the pitch, seeking out Davison, who has support there with Jarvis. Davison couldn't do well, or much with it rather. Whittingham locates Ogie now, bursting into the Woking half. Finds Edser. Back to Ogie. Away from Kretschmar, who was just clipped. Kretschmar having a word with the referee. Aldershot wanted to play that quickly.
I think he may well have caught him. I don't think it's a yellow card.
No,
I think it's just a
that'd be harsh, I think.
Really.
I think it was a fair chance to win the ball. But then again, challenges do add up. He's going to get away with it this time, Kretschmar. You feel the next one could be in trouble. Jarvis, the furthest man forward for Woking. Davison's gone back. Edser with the free kick. Again, very central. Bounces off the feet of Davison. They've not dealt with it, and it's Miller, and it's saved by Ross. Ricky Miller puts his hands to his head, and there was the chance for the 31-year-old to make an instant impact.
Good work by Ross there. I think Craig Ross came over and just threw his body in front of it, really, and we're able. It looked odds on a goal. The way the ball was bobbling just a foot away, so away from the goal there. So good work by Craig Ross.
They've got a corner, which they go short to Paniatu. Paniatu now just slightly bubbles, but gives it back to Rees, who chips it towards the back post. Craig Ross is there, gets two good hands to it, and tries to get Woking a little bit up the pitch. Rolls it straight to Casey, and they're on the march here now, the Cards. Straight into the Aldershot half they go. Options right are Dempsey, Kretschmar, Davison and Jarvis. Casey's still going. Casey left-footed cross cut out by Rees, who's been excellent this afternoon, and even finds the ball to Miller. Now with Whittingham. Turns away from block. Now to Edser. Edser has support with Ogie on the overlap. Doesn't really have anything in front of him, so has to go back to the former Woking man. Now with Bettimer. Ogie screaming for it on this left side. Whittingham turning away from block, who just regathers his footing. Straight directly to Paniatu. Gets the 1-2. Whittingham now going to loft it forward on the right-hand side to find Fowler, and it's just not the best of touches. But sparkling Aldershot Town play, but with no end product.
Yeah, and disappointing from Josh Casey as well there, because Woking for the first time for quite a while were breaking with intent, and he just needed to find a man, and there would have been a really good chance, and instead he gave it away, and immediately Woking are back under pressure, and but Aldershot unable to make it count.
20 minutes to go. Still goalless here at the Laithwaite. Craig Ross with the goal kick. Dowse having brought on Jarvis and Dempsey. Ricky Miller has come on for Danny Searle. And still be a change in this game yet. Paniatu finds Miller. Miller now breaking forward. Is he caught by Cook? Yes, says the referee. Yellow card goes Jack Cook's way. Goal between Bolton and Crawley. Let's find out which way it's gone. Gary Smith.
Yeah, it's gone the way of the visitors, Mark. It's Bolton 0, Crawley Town 1. The goal coming from the skipper, George Frankham, after 61 minutes. Some lovely bit of football on the edge of the penalty area from Crawley. The ball was rolled into Frankham, who made a burst from the midfield into the area, got it onto his right foot and drilled it low beyond Gilks for his fourth goal of the season. Glenn Morris has just had to make a wonderful save from Bolton striker Owen Doyle as Bolton look to press and find themselves an equaliser. But with 67 minutes on the clock at the moment, Crawley Town are leading this one, seeking a third consecutive away win in the league and also looking for their first clean sheet on the road in any competition so far this season. If they can do that, they'll get the 3 points here and certainly be in amongst the playoff places come 5 o'clock tonight. Bolton 0, Crawley Town 1.
Excellent stuff, Gary. Good to see Crawley ahead at the University of Bolton Stadium. Can it stay that way? Can we get a goal here? Edser over the free kick. It's fizzed into the front post and it's into the back of the net. Not sure who got the last touch, but Aldershot celebrate. Edser's free kick bouncing around in the Woking box, and it gets its way into the back of the net. The Aldershot Town team celebrate as one. And just as they did on Boxing Day. They take the lead here, albeit in the second half and late on into the game. Not sure who got the final touch here, Nicholson, but the scoreline reads Woking 0, Aldershot Town 1.
Yeah, it was a ball in. So many players, very hard to tell. Woking players all complaining about something. We have no idea what, because we couldn't see it clearly, and but Aldershot managed to edge it home.
And really, the way the game's gone, you can't really say that's not deserved.
Well, no, the last 10 or 15 minutes, the pressure's been building from Aldershot, and they've had more and more of the ball, more and more of the attacks, and Woking really seeming to be unable to build anything. Long balls forward, but it's most of them coming back from Davison's head.
Doesn't matter what form you're in the league, Woking just seem to always struggle against Aldershot Town, and they have the advantage here once again. They're coming forward with Miller. Last touch came off Cook, who cries out his complaints. Aldershot Town throw. And now, with that lead, Ian, you sense that they will try and kill off this game, because it had a 1-0 look to it. And with, 19 minutes left to go on the clock, they're very much in control of this game.
It certainly did. It certainly did have a 1-0, looking as very little in it. And, yeah, really, Woking, I think we've got to try something different. They've got to actually start trying to build some of the attacks, and really a bit of a Josh Casey trying to take it there. I think, was that Ricky Miller there getting in the way and getting a yellow card on his return to competitive football.
Welcome back. So just under 20 minutes to go for Alan Dowson's side to fix their wrongs, and they're going to make their third and final change. Slavi Sparzov will be coming on for Woking, and Tommy Block, the man, withdrawn. So they're going to go two in midfield, Woking. You feel that they have to, and they've got all the striking options on that they can. Sparzov on for Woking. Free kick to be taken by Craig Ross.
The goal was really symptomatic of the game, wasn't it? It was a scrappy nudge home.
Forward from Ross, evades everyone.
And disappointing kick there from Craig Ross. Woking really need to, if they're going to get back into this game, really need to find build momentum from somewhere.
And late in the day as well. I've seen claims that it could be Ricky Miller with the last touch. Toby Edser took the free kick. They appeared to celebrate together. We have no confirmation on the goal scorer, but Aldershot Town won't care because they are in front. Paniatu now coming forward. It's Edser in the box. It's Bettimer at the back post. Bettimer arriving. Opts to not go for goal straight away. Keeps it in play, left-footed. Rolls the ball over with his right foot away from Lofthouse. Last touch seemingly coming off the Woking man. Ogie with the throw. And Aldershot are giving the goal to Miller, but there are plenty of people saying straight in from Edser. So we'll get clarification from that a little bit later on. Can they see this out for another famous double over the cards over the festive period? Ogie with the throw. Miller's come short, so too Paniatu. Finds Miller away from Casey. It's a poor clearance from Lofthouse. Seemingly going to be another frustrating afternoon for Woking, Ian.
Well, at the moment it looks like it, and Woking certainly not short of team spirit, so they certainly won't give this up. And but yeah, and particularly after the recent games against Aldershot, it's not looking good for Woking at the moment.
Kretschmar through the legs of Ogie. I thought the last touch came off an Aldershot Town man, but eventually the linesman puts his flag the other way.
That was right in front of us. I think that was a wrong. I don't quite know where that decision came from.
Yeah. I've been very level-headed this afternoon, but I think that was pretty obvious. That was a Woking throw. Ogie with the resulting throw down the line, looking for Paniatu over Lofthouse's leg and out for a Woking goal kick.
You have to say that it's a derby, it's a heavy pitch and so on, but Woking really haven't created enough this afternoon so far.
No, not at all.
Very few openings carved out, really. And to that you have to say Aldershot have defended well.
They have. Yeah, indeed they have. Lyons Foster's return to the team has been very clear to the eye. He's partnered well with Giles Phillips, the Wycombe Wanderers loanee. Casey trying to get the knock on back to Ross. I think he was pushed there by Miller and is. Miller on a yellow card, but there'll be no further punishment for just a single tap there on Casey. And he might be in trouble here actually. Ricky Miller.
Yeah, he's calling over for the trainer,
thigh
holding his thigh, I think.
Hamstring. Yeah, he needs to come off here, Ricky Miller.
Come off.
And despite possibly getting the winning goal here, it's not going to be the afternoon that Ricky Miller wanted on his return to football, indeed the National League. But he's already asked for the change here, so we're going to have a substitute being substituted. And Cheeky Candy would be the obvious replacement. I believe he is the one getting ready.
You have to say the jump from, as we were saying earlier, being out of the game for a while and suddenly going to, training, even football training, can't compensate for the intensity of a game. And suddenly you get to, as I can speak from experience, you get to a certain age and muscles start pinging left, right and centre, and it looks as though, Ricky Miller was giving it his all there. And, he's barely getting off the pitch there. He's obviously... It's either a thigh or a hamstring, and he raises his arms in exasperation.
Yeah, he waddles off. Ricky Miller will be replaced by another former Woking player we highlighted earlier, Cheeky Candy. He played 16 times here in the 16-17 season, managed 3 goals. Talking of goals, there's been an equaliser for Dorking Wanderers in the National League South. Hampton and Richmond 1, Dorking Wanderers 1, and Wes Fogden, the man with the goal. Currently puts Dorking back to 4th place in the league. Hampton Richmond 5th, so a good battle going on there. And we'll have another update from Bolton Crawley, I'm sure, between now and full time. Ricky Miller off, Cheeky Candy on. Looks to have bulked up a little bit, Cheeky Candy, since when we last saw him. He was very much a young man, who, as you mentioned, Ian, when we last saw him in a Woking shirt. But finding a new lease of life at Aldershot Town.
Yeah, he did quite well at Dagenham. Didn't score prolifically, but moved to Aldershot. Yeah, he's definitely bulked up, as has Toby Edzer. I was chatting to Toby at one of the previous games. He said he'd been doing weights.
Yeah.
The difficulty with that is you can do weights and you can lose your sort of zip in your play. But
particularly what he's known for.
Edzer certainly hasn't lost that. He's done well in the 2 league games here.
Quick look at the other games in the National League today. Chesterfield 1, Solihull Moors 0, Stockport County 2, Altrincham 2, Weymouth 1, Eastleigh 1, and Yeoviltown 0, Torquay 1. So no thumping for Yeovil today, but they are behind to the league leaders, who will be stretching 14 points clear at the top of the table.
They keep rolling on, don't they, Torquay,
do.
Every game.
Catch us if you can. Edzer brings it down smartly, flaked by Paniatu. Reese now, straight at the feet of Craig Ross. Good save by the Woking goalkeeper. Aldershot Town corner. Excellent passage of play from the shots. Lovely flick from Paniatu, set Reese forward.
Yeah, one of the few moves, I would say, in the game where it's been a real creativity that's opened the defence up. Little flick there from Edzer through to Paniatu.
Corner is almost beyond everyone. Lyons Foster with the last touch to see it out for a goal kick.
You have to say, looking at the Woking side, Matt Jarvis, I think, has probably been on for 15 minutes?
Yep.
Barely touched the ball.
Yeah.
There's just been nothing creative built that he can get involved in.
Still time, 10 minutes to go. Woking 0, Aldershot Town 1. Last touch off Cook. And again, the shot's just happy to slow things down. It's professional, this, you'd say. Just to kill the game off when you have the lead.
Game management. It's
game management.
Mark.
There you go. Professional knowledge of Ian Nicholson to my right. Mentioned in the first half, Wokin's next game is a trip to Wrexham before 2 games against Bromley in a matter of a couple of weeks. First one will be in the FA Trophy. Aldershot also in action twice at home, against Barnet in the league and then against Solihull Moors in the Trophy. Ricky Miller with what looked a hamstring injury, adding to the sidelines list. Of course, still no Lewis Kinsella, Craig Tanner, Ross McCormack. Sendles White was injured in this reverse fixture. Phillips there again, doing a job on Davison. Lofthouse was just caught there by the combination of Bettimer and Edser. Woking free kick. You really get the sense that Woking need to start gambling numbers forward now.
Yeah, which will obviously leave them open at the back, but they'll be wanting something from this game, so I suspect they'll be taking a few more risks.
Long ball forward from Casey. Up in the air goes Collier. Last touch off a Woking head. But it's been that sort of game, if we start from a Woking perspective, Ian, that there've been no real opportunities to test Mitch Walker, I should say. There hasn't been that fluidity up front from the likes of Kretschmar and Davison and Loader in the first half. The substitutes haven't really made the difference, so it's, I wouldn't say dark times for Woking, but really lacking in the final third.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that goes back to midfield. There's been very little sort of structured play, probably from either side. I mean, Aldershot have shaded the midfield, but the midfield really haven't built anything. Ferdinand's won his headers and flicks on. Cooper with his set pieces, but nothing really creative coming from midfield.
And I suppose from an Aldershot passage of play, which we'll come to in just a second, here's Candy combining with Edser, lofting it forward to Paniatu. This would be some goal, this would be, and Rees smashes it wide. Goodness me, what a goal that would have been if that found the back of the net. It didn't, and Woking just about get away with another one, because if that found the back of the net, that game, or this game, is curtains. That would have been it. That would have been the 3 points sewn up, but they couldn't beat Ross.
It would have broken the net as well, I think, if it had gone in, but it's really should have scored from there. They did all the hard work.
Here's Whittingham. Inside ball to find Rees. I have to say, probably has been one of the contenders for man of the match here this afternoon. It's been tremendous in midfield for the shots. Here's Chike Candy, turning away from Casey. Dashing away from the Woking captain. Jarvis is there to support as well. Candy through both the Woking players. Gets a low cosh, finds Paniatu. His strike wasn't his best. Fumbled it wide. Out for another Woking goal kick. And speaking of Aldershot, this puts them currently level on points with Woking in. And as Rob Worrell will know all too well, you just don't know which Aldershot town is going to turn up. But here today, you'd have to say they've dominated possession and probably merit their 1 goal advantage.
I think they've had a much stronger, I think the first half was pretty even. They've had a much stronger second half, creating, and certainly in the last 15 minutes created a lot more. And Woking are really going to have to do something if they're going to get back in this.
And something they haven't done in the first 85 minutes of this game, and that is challenge Mitch Walker, who has had a very quiet return, it must be said, for the shots. But that's a better ball to find Jarvis onside on the left side. Turning back onto his right foot, low cross, sliced by Phillips, but it will guide its way straight to Mitch Walker. And that's the first time he's probably had his hands on the ball in the second half.
Yeah, and it's the first time Jarvis has really had an opportunity to put one in. It was an awkward ball, zipping across, and hard for the defender to handle.
Good clearance as well. Gets a lot of height under it. Paniatu. Collier strokes it back to Ross, who gets it up the pitch for Woking. Davidson still being collared there by Lyons Foster. Clip forward looking for Bettimer, who could be in here, but well dealt with by Lofthouse. Got the header back to Craig Ross, who quickly fires it out the pitch, and Slavi Sparsov, who hasn't even touched a ball for Woking, has now. Gets some room on the left side. It's just clipped there. Woking get a free kick in a good position here, Nicholson.
Yeah, first opportunity they really had for quite a while to sort of get a dangerous ball into the box here, and it's and obviously Jarvis to deliver. Cooper, the set piece specialist, has gone off, but Jarvis certainly can deliver a mean set piece. So.
Fowler goes into the book. Aldershot number 2. Speaking of 2, that's what we've got left minutes-wise before we see the fourth officials board. You'd imagine it'd be the typical 4 or 5 minutes added on, and you get the sense that if Woking are to equalise, this is probably one of the only means that they're going to do so. Again, they've got numbers forward. Collier, Davison, Ferdinand, Cook, Lofthouse, all in the box. It needs to be a good delivery. It's right towards the back post and gets to punch from Walker, and that will go out for a Woking throw.
Yeah, it looked like that could have crept in, really, from where we are. It's notoriously bad angles over here, so the TV viewers can tell better, but it's well dealt with by Walker.
Dempsey goes short, but I think Cook just wants to get this one into the box. Long throw, that's better. Flicked on by Ferdinand, falls to Collier, lofts it in, off Kretschmar, cleared away by an Aldershot head. Up goes Ferdinand once again, and it's smashed clear, I think, by Phillips. Right up in the air, Paniatu's underneath this one. Lovely touch, but gives it back to Jack Cook. Tries to get the cross in, batters off the chest of Bettimer, who I think felt that one. Cook deflects it out for an Aldershot Town throw. Well, speaking about Torquay, Yeovil scored 2 goals in 2 minutes, the 88th minute and the 90th minute. So they're ahead
Just
by 2 goals to 1.
To show 2 wins in a row and Torquay losing to the bottom table.
This is the beginning of a Yeovil Town revival. Collier back to Ross. Inside the last 60 seconds of normal time here at the Laithwaite. Woking 0, Aldershot Town 1 in the derby. Sparsoff offloads to Jarvis. Again well dealt with by Fowler. Wants to throw and's going to get it. Gets the round of applause from manager Danny Searle. He'll be delighted with his team's response from Monday's performance, but even more so that it's against your local rivals.
Yes, certainly you would have to say Aldershot, considering they lost 3-0 away, on Monday. They've really knuckled down. They've certainly taken the battle to Woking, and it has been a battle at times. There's been no flinching, no pulling back, and they were the ones who got the break, and have certainly, as we were saying, in the second half, showed more creativity.
You can hear the cries of still time. I think that was Max Kretschmar's voice, one of the leaders in this Woking team, who's not getting the return to action that he would have wanted. Cleared away by Cook once again. Up goes Lyons Foster yet again for Aldershot. Cook there once more. Ferdinand and Rees doing battle. Back to Dempsey. Now with Jack Cook eyeing up another long ball. Blasting it forward, looking for Davison. Davison doesn't get the flick on, but it finds its way to Kretschmar. Kretschmar has options right, but he's dispossessed by Rees, who I've said once before has been fantastic for Aldershot Town in midfield here today. We're about to see the board for additional minutes as Mitch Walker will take all the allotted time he can.
Yeah, Woking's strength this season has been really winning the second ball and making the most of that, and they've been matched on that today.
6 additional minutes for Aldershot Town to hold on. 6 minutes left to go of the derby. Whittingham. Back to Ogie. Down the line for Paniatu as Collier comes across and puts it out of play for an Aldershot Town throw. Ogie taking his time to run down the line here. Paniatu and Bettimer the options for the fullback to target. Wants to go long into the box, takes a couple of extra steps backwards. Looking for Bettimer, comes back to Ogie now. Lets it roll out of play for another throw, which Dempsey will try and speed things up by handing in the ball back. Candy, back to Ogie. Flick down the line to find Paniatu. Paniatu turning away from Kretschmar, going to the corner flag is Paniatu. And he's wriggled his way through 2 Woking players and gets the free kick Aldershot's way. It's good play from Paniatu, you must say. Won himself the free kick. Might have been a little bit cheap, but Kretschmar couldn't believe it. The shot's looking to kill this game off.
Yes, I doubt if this one's going to go into the area. I think it'll go back into the corner.
Game management.
Game management.
Danny Sells still barking out instructions. Haven't heard too much from Ian Dar and Aaron Dowson in recent minutes. They won't accept defeat for nothing. But they feel or can see this game is slipping away from them as the seconds tick by. We played 2 of the additional 6. There's a sea of Woking players chasing this one down, and eventually it comes out to Dempsey, brought down by Davison. Sparsov, he's going to be offside, just couldn't keep himself the right side of the defence. And again, the shots will take their time to gather the loose ball and take this free kick.
You have to say that was very disappointing from Woking perspective. I think Sparsov's enthusiasm got the better of him. Just a young player. I think he's just turned 20, but really that was an opportunity that wasn't taken.
Man of the match, Ian, going to an Aldershot Town player. I think Josh Rees would certainly have to be there, but either of the central defenders would probably be deserving of a nomination.
Yeah, Rees has been very strong, and as I say, I think the 2 central defenders. Eds has done his bit. I think Eds has played well. Giving it to one person, I'll let you choose, Mark. I think
I'll go Josh Rees. I've been speaking about him all afternoon, and in my match notes I can see that he started his career at Arsenal, so I've got every right to give it to Josh Rees. It's Ricky Miller / Toby Edson's goal that will split the 2 sides, but I think Rees has been tremendous in midfield. Ex-Torquay, ex-Bromley, full of experience at this level. Forward from Cook, cut out by Lyons Foster, who probably isn't too far away from my award. Bettimer cuts it out, only to Kretschmar, nodding it forward for Davison, chested down by Ogie, cleared by Bettimer. He's playing almost as a left wing back at the minute. Last touch off Kretschmar there, out for an Aldershot throw. Just trying to speed things up for Aldershot. Whittingham walks away from the throw. 2 minutes left to go. Ogie makes up a couple of yards, opts to go down the line, which Loftus and Kretschmar are there. Nodded down by Rees, back to Ogie, lets it roll across his body. Now Wokin's turn to have a throw, and the Aldershot Town players sprint back into position. Ogie gets there first, and then Bettimer lofts it forward, up in the air, over the head of Cook, brought down stylishly by Candy, it must be said, has Fowler for support on the right. George Fowler now coming forward for the shots, challenged there by Cook and kept in play. Cook can set away Jarvis now. Fowler out of position as Rees scrambles to get back for Aldershot. Jarvis still going. Fowler didn't foul his man, or Rees I should say, didn't foul his man. Jarvis wanted more. Jarvis is lashed out there at the Aldershot man, and Aldershot have a free kick.
Jarvis very frustrated there that he didn't get the free kick, but I have to say the referee's been pretty, I would say, lenient. He's let play go. So a lot of the 50-50s have gone. It's always frustrating when those sorts of free kicks are given, particularly when you're chasing a result like this, or chasing a goal like this.
Well, Peter Gibbons, as the referee today, given out 14 yellows in 3 games this season, including 8 in Wokin's 3-2 loss at Kings Lynn. Only 4 today. Or 5 today, I should say. 2 for Woking, 3 for Aldershot. So I think you're right. He's managed a derby game pretty well. Off the head of Sparsov. He's rarely had a ball to sniff in this game. Casey up in the air. Up goes Rees. Chested down by Edser. Edser now away from Cook and Dempsey. Now with Candy. Edser, will he go towards the corner flag? Turning away and dancing away from Casey. And Dempsey stops that going out for a goal kick. But it doesn't matter. It's Aldershot Town's day once again in their 4th straight win at the Laithwaite. And they've done the double once again over Woking here this afternoon. It's finished here. Woking 0, Aldershot Town 1. The Woking players, a couple of them hit the deck beyond disbelief again. And once again, Ian Nicholson, Woking on the end of a defeat in a derby.
Yeah, it goes on. I mean, obviously the cup, the FA Cup was earlier, but certainly the the league pain continues for Woking fans, and Aldershot fans continue to have bragging rights. It's that simple. And I would say that on the day they deserved it. I think the first half was very even, not much quality. In fact, there wasn't a huge amount of quality in the whole game. But Woking pressure, and they managed to. Aldershot pressure, they managed to sneak home. Scrappy goal, but for the pressure, it was probably deserved. The disappointing thing from a Woking perspective is that after the goal, Woking failed to put anything creative together, really. The Aldershot defence held firm, particularly the two central defenders, cut out everything that came in their direction, and Woking really didn't have the nous today to unlock their defence.
Ian, thanks very much for your thoughts today. Let's get immediate reaction from our Aldershot Town expert, who I'm sure will be loving the 3 points at home. That's Rob Worrell. Rob, a very good 3 points this afternoon for the Shots.
Yeah, it was in the end. No questions, I think, as you guys called it really in the second half. Nothing in it in the first half, and the Shots pretty much in the ascendancy in terms of possession, in terms of chances in the second half. Just that free kick that Walker punched away, the only real effort in the second half from Woking. I think Ricky Miller wreaked havoc in his 17 minutes off on the pitch. Obviously, now people will question whether it was too soon for him to come back, but in that time, obviously, won the free kick, and the yellow card that led towards the goal may or may not have got a touch. From my own opinion, I think Eds's ball went straight in. I didn't see anybody touch it in. A tight victory for Aldershot, but as you guys said yourself, overall, the sharper of the two sides, and they deserve 3 points, I believe.
Very much so, Rob. It's been Aldershot Town's day. Mixed form in recent weeks, but they will go home the happy. 6 points over Christmas from 9. Woking only 1 out of 9. That point on Monday, but it's Aldershot Town who have done the double over Woking once again.